Welcome to Voices of Dreamers, where we spotlight the stories that transcend borders and expectations. In this episode, we meet Andrés, a DACA recipient, first generation college graduate, and now a research scientist in chemistry. After 24 years in the U.S., Andrés returned to Mexico through the Border Advocacy Training Program, which granted him advanced parole. Before joining the group in Tijuana, he traveled to Mexico City to give a chemistry talk at a local university, sharing his research and his experience navigating science as a first-gen student and DACA recipient. But the heart of the program was in Tijuana, where Andres and fellow participants worked directly with asylum seekers, visiting detention centers to help explain the legal process, share critical information, and offer support to those navigating the U.S. immigration system. From the lab to the border, Andres' story is one of resilience, identity, and the power of using knowledge to uplift others.
Hi, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Good.
Welcome. Thank you so much for wanting to come on and tell your story.
Yeah, I saw the opportunity on your TikTok and I thought it was a great thing that you're doing.
I saw that you said you're in science.
Correct.
How cool. You do research or?
Yeah, so I'm a research scientist at a chemical company. So I've been
Oh,
doing
okay.
it for about almost 2 years now.
Okay, nice. How exciting. I like to start with you guys sharing your story, like if you know it, of how you came, how old you were, how your childhood was, the difference of like if you remember. Some of us do remember like struggling a little bit when we were little with the language and how everything, was just different being uprooted from Mexico to coming to the US when we were little. So if you want to start by sharing your story.
Thanks for having me here.
Of
So
course.
to kind of start off on my journey as a dreamer, I came here at the age of 4 years old. So my mom brought me here. And my dad was already in the United States, so the goal was to be together. Um,
Yes.
so and to give me a better life, a better education, than the opportunities that we had in our hometown. So we made the journey when I was 4, and growing up, I never really understood what the reasoning was. And I do have small memories of crossing the border, and just kind of being told what to do on this journey. But never, never was it like a thought of, oh man, what I'm doing is a bad thing. It's considered
Right.
illegal. I'm breaking laws. What I was told was, we're gonna go be with your dad. So in my head, no, I'm gonna go be with my dad. We're gonna be a
Yeah.
family. Um, so then growing up, I kind of had difficulties pretty much with the language barrier. Luckily, I was young enough to kind of assimilate with the education system. Um, and I guess I didn't realize the differences until I was pretty much in high school, once everyone starts kind of applying to, take the learner's permit, applying to colleges. That's when I started to feel different, I guess you can say, because at the age of everyone taking their permit test, I wasn't really able to. And that's when I really learned, I don't have the correct paperwork.
Yeah.
Um, and luckily for me, when DACA was passed, I believe was 2012, I was one of, I was like all for it within that first cycle. So I immediately, I had all my paperwork, applied for DACA, no hesitation at all, and was able to get my DACA status, get a work permit, get a social security to work, and that's when I was able to, get a work driver's license and
Yeah.
work at restaurants, and it it opened a lot of doors up. And then that was kind of like, let's say, sophomore, junior year of high school. And once the next barrier was applying to colleges, uh,
Right.
applying to
Yeah.
colleges at an early stage of not many people knowing what DACA was, how to treat DACA recipients, whether we're out of state, in state,
Yeah.
international. Um,
Right.
and so when I was applying to colleges, uh, I applied to many colleges, and many people kind of expected me to get into all these schools because I had the good GPA. I was in sports. I did extracurricular activities, and so everyone thought I was going to be a shoe into college. But the legal status was kind of the barrier for me.
Yeah. What state are you in?
I'm in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay, okay.
Hmm.
Got it. Do they have did they end up having like anything for dreamers eventually?
Eventually, yeah. So when I started, there wasn't much. There was a lot of schools in Pennsylvania that made us take uh, the TOEFL, I believe it's what's what it's called, kind of like the SAT, but for international students.
Oh,
Some
okay.
schools considered us out-of-state students,
Yes.
international students. So there was a like I guess miscommunication of how to treat dreamers and DACA
Yeah.
recipients, especially like my case where I had a high school degree from the States.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah, true, true. So did you have to pay that out-of-state tuition?
Um, Luckily, I did not have to pay that
Oh,
out-of-state tuition. I was very fortunate enough to have a great family friend, and now I consider them family who were able to talk to a university or a college here in the state, um, and kind of send them in my direction, and was
okay.
able to attend college because of them. And it was a private institute, so they were very helpful in scholarships, and financial aid internally. But anything external, for example, the federal grants, FAFSA, I did not at that time qualify for.
Yeah. Wow. And look at you, you still like made it happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was quite a journey. So that was I graduated college in 2018, and was able to do that. And every 4 years, there's always some worry of what is going to happen with dreamers. Uh,
Yes.
Even during school, like you sometimes wonder, like, okay, this next term is coming up. What now? Am I going to be able to
Right.
finish school? Am I not going to be able to finish school?
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So much uncertainty.
Hmm.
Yeah. On top of having the 2 years, you also have to worry about the every 4 years of what's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah. So true. So you graduated from college, and did you know what you were going to major in already? You knew that you were going to major like in science?
I had a pretty strong leaning towards science since high school,
Okay.
especially in chemistry, in the chemistry field. So I went to college for chemistry, and then went to grad school for chemistry, and now I do chemistry.
Oh, wow. That's cool. That is so amazing. I've been meeting a lot of the dreamer community, and all of you guys are just so resilient and going out there and pursuing all this higher education. It's so motivating.
Yeah, it's I think one of my drives was always telling myself, like, seeing like past family, like what they had to go through to get to where they are. For example, my parents, it's like if they can do it and I have a slightly better opportunity, I could do it. And that's
Right.
kind
That's
of
so
always been the
true.
drive.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Um, do you did you ever do the advanced parole? That's like the biggest thing right now going around.
Yes, so I actually was able to do advanced parole back in January, so 2 months ago.
Oh,
Um,
okay. How was that?
it was a awesome experience. It was through the Border Advocacy Training Program. It's a nonprofit organization in California. Um, so there was a big group of us that actually,
I think I've seen videos about it.
yes, I was part of this group.
Oh my God, how exciting. Okay, ooh, tell me all about it. How cool. It looks so amazing.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. So that was my first time back in Mexico after 24 years of being in the States. Um, and so in my situation, I went down to Mexico 4 or 5 days beforehand and went into the city, Mexico City, and was able to give a chemistry talk at one of the universities down there on my research and my degree and kind of like a first gen in science experience to students there. And then the part of the border advocacy training program was in Tijuana, where we all gathered together. We all kind of were explaining the experiences of asylum seekers, people that are waiting at the border for their court hearing cases. And then our mission was to pretty much go to these centers, detention centers, different areas to kind of explain how the process works and how the application works, and the do's and don'ts of the process. Um,
Was it like knowing that you're gonna be going for the first time?
it
How was that feeling?
was nerve-wracking. Um,
Yeah,
it was nerve-wracking because I have everything here in the States. Uh, and, if everything goes well, you are expected to come in perfectly fine and you go back to work. But,
right,
there's always what if, what if you don't make it back successfully now what? Um,
right.
so it was quite nerve-wracking. But during that whole experience, Um, it was an amazing experience being able to experience the culture again for a couple days, uh,
Yeah,
eat the food, see
yeah,
a couple family members, help others during the program. But it was an amazing experience.
yeah. Was it like I don't want to say culture shock, but like when you got to Mexico City, like just seeing everything because we're so used to seeing it like on TV and novelas. We've been growing with stuff, the images of what Mexico looks like, and for you to witness it in person, like how
Uh,
did it feel?
so, um, I don't think culture shock is the right word, like you said.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like in a moment where you realize Mexico City is a lot bigger than what you expect. So I live in Philadelphia City, and it's a pretty big city, maybe not like New York. And I've been to New York, I've traveled to New York, and which is also a big city.
Yeah.
And Mexico City is just a whole different level.
Yeah. Oh my God. When you were doing your talk on chemistry, was it in Spanish or were you doing it in English?
So I get this question a lot.
Yeah.
So I gave almost an hour talk. So half of it was chemistry, and half of it was my life experiences as a DACA dreamer, first gen. So the first half, the chemistry talk, was in Spanish, in English, sorry, and then the second half was all in Spanish. And then the Q&A, whether it was a chemistry question or a personal question, it was all in Spanish.
Um, you said you had a little bit of fear, like a little bit of that uncertainty, like is everything gonna be okay when you come back? Did you, even though you went with a big group, you still had a little bit of that fear still?
There was a slight fear, but when I realized that I was with a great group of people so I had a small difficulty. So the advanced parole document that, we need to get stamped, got left behind at the Mexican airport. And so everyone was in panic for me. Um,
Yeah.
but everyone sprung into action. The leaders of the program, um, many people sprung into action, and even my sister, who she's a U.S. citizen, she traveled to Mexico with me. She
Okay.
sprung into action, and uh, and then once I got to the border in Tijuana, and regrouped with everyone, I felt better because seeing the action they took to try to
Yeah.
get me
Oh my God.
there, and they were all saying, we're not leaving you stranded, like, you
Oh, that is so amazing. Yeah. They weren't like, okay, like we'll see you later.
right.
Yeah. Oh, that is so amazing. Yeah, I've seen all the videos and I was like, wow, that is so cool that they were able to like organize something like that and go down there and bring, like almost like educate. And then you guys learned a lot also from it too, I saw.
Yes, yes, we learned a lot. We had a couple professors there, and like lawyers, at the Ibero school in Tijuana. Um, so yeah.
And you said you guys went to some of the detention centers.
Mhm.
How was that seeing that firsthand?
Um, Definitely an experience. Especially because you know, for example, in my case, like I've kind of experienced some of these issues with, immigration. And now I'm older, right? But being there, there were little kids and who don't understand what's going on. They're just there with their parents, and I was sitting there, and there's like a little play area for them, and they were playing around, and having a good time playing their toys, playing together as kids. But as adults now, we know like how difficult it's going to be, and is for them right now. So definitely a shock and an experience.
Yeah. Especially right now with everything going on and how they're trying to not allow them to see to have a lawyer to
Hmm.
represent themselves.
Hmm.
Yeah, that is so scary for them. It must be so sad, to see that firsthand because we see like all the videos and stuff and but I feel like witnessing it and seeing it firsthand makes it a little more real.
Yeah, yeah,
You
definitely.
know. Do you do you think that this presidency will do anything for dreamers?
Um, do I think?
With like everything that they've done so far, like
Yeah. So
I don't know if you saw
I
his
hope they
interview.
do. Yes. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Um, I hope they do. It's an issue every 4 years, right? And every 4 years, DACA and Dreamers always come up in conversation within the beginning parts of the election and people taking office. But to me, I don't know. To me, my opinion, it's always seemed like after a few months, they just kind of put us on the back burner again.
Yeah.
Um, so do I think something's gonna happen? Maybe. Um, I don't want to say no, but I also don't want to be super optimistic and saying yes, definitely.
Right.
Because it's always this dance every 4 years, I feel like.
True. True. Do you feel since immigration is so in the forefront right now that they may feel like since he put it out there and he said that he wants to do something, do you think that he might want to do something just to maybe say, "Oh, I did it. I gave it to them."
I can see that being a thing, to, I guess, kind of take credit, uh
Right.
So I can kind of see that happening as well because there's a lot of people that are for it, for the idea of giving dreamers the opportunity to have a green card or pathway to citizenship. There is a
Yeah,
lot of support behind it. So I, I can maybe see something like that happening.
fingers crossed. Hopefully, with
Yeah,
that bill in Texas getting getting some light right now, hopefully
yeah.
something can pass.
I hope so.
Right, yeah, and it's not like I feel like everybody's like, "Oh, like, you guys want citizenship," and it's like, we don't. We know that it's a process, and we know that we don't wanna push our luck, so we just want, like, a pathway to
A
it.
pathway, correct.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Even though we have been doing this process for it's already been, what, over 10 years since the Dreamer program came out?
right.
I feel like I feel like it's time for, something like give us a residency where we can apply, maybe 5 years
Yeah,
instead of having this uncertainty every 2 years.
correct. I agree.
Yeah, and then especially right now with everything going on, a lot of people are applying, like, even, like, a year in advance and losing that year.
Hmm. Yeah, I did. I have a few friends who are DACA recipients as well, and they're currently in the process of renewing, even if they'll lose a couple months, just to
Right,
have that
yeah.
2 year permit.
Yeah, my friend did it, and his didn't expire for 6 months, and since there were so many rumors that it was taking so long because everybody was trying to renew before he got into office, everyone was trying to get their application in. He got his, like, in 2 weeks. He was like, "Oh my god, now I lost out on 6 months."
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. Some people were getting it really fast. Um, my last cycle took several months actually, and
Really?
yeah, I think it took several months for me to get my last
My
one.
goodness.
Hmm.
I'm, like, thinking how long ahead I should apply. Mine doesn't expire until May of 2026, so I'm just like, should I do the 6 months? Should I do the year? Because there's so much information out there right now that I'm just like, I don't know what to do."
Yeah,
But I think I'm just maybe gonna hold out for the 6
I
months.
think that's what I'm also planning to do.
Right, yeah, just to, like, not lose out on so much time, or for them to deny it because it's, like, so far ahead or
Right,
something.
right.
Yeah, because 'Cause I've heard also that you may lose out on your money if it gets, like, they say you're filing too early.
Hmm. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
heard of that. I've heard of that as well.
With everything going on right now with immigration and the ICE raids, and do you feel like our community is being attacked since we're at the forefront of it?
Our community as streamers in DACA,
Like, all the
or
Latino community, the Hispanic community,
I
because
think,
even though he said, "Oh, we're gonna come after, criminals, we're gonna come after, all these people that are here, um, doing, like, bad stuff," like but they're not going after them. The first ICE raids were towards the farm workers.
yeah, I definitely think we are impacted. I think we are the first ones to be targeted. And the more as time progresses, the more you see these situations where it's not just people that are doing bad things. Um,
Yeah.
it's even just simple stops on the road, just um, being questioned whether you have a citizenship or you're a citizen or you have proper paperwork. Um, so it does seem like we are targeted a lot more now. Um, and it's not just because we did a crime, right?
Yeah. I like sometimes wonder, like how much all of this is costing. Because you see, like, they're using military planes and all the legwork and everything they're doing. And it's like, how much is all of this? Like, where's all this money coming from
Yeah,
to like do all of this? And like the way that they're just treating us, and like the videos how they show them all, with like the shackles on their legs, their hands, and it's just so dehumanizing.
Yeah, I think they definitely have been spending a lot of money for this, right? I think this money can be put to better use. Um,
Yeah.
and it is very dehumanizing, especially now that you see like these like the White House Instagram page or like the ICE Instagram page where they're like putting those videos of people getting detained and deported as with some music in the background. Um, it, it's it's very dehumanizing because a lot of the people that are being in these videos that are being detained and are shown to be the bad guys are all majority Latinos. Um, and we aren't the only ones that came here, either illegally or breaking laws, or overstayed visas. But it seems like it's always targeted towards the Latino population.
Um, this is a different question. Did
Mhm.
you see the election? Were you shocked at the results of how the Latino vote went?
So I followed it a little bit, um, and y- yes and no of being shocked. Um, yes, because they the people that voted in that direction voted for someone that speaks very ill of our community, right? Um, but I'm also not shocked. Uh, I think some people sometimes want something new, and just fall for the narrative of he's going to come in and do something new. Um, and I, I mean, he might be doing something new, but in a bad way.
So true. Yes. Oh my goodness. You said that you went to Mexico more than once?
No, just once.
Just the
Back.
one time?
Yep, just a one time in
Oh,
January.
okay, okay. So you went four days earlier to Mexico City, and then you did the program, and you got your advanced parole now, so you have that legal entry.
Mhm.
Are you pursuing to go ahead and go in route of applying for your citizenship?
Yeah. So what I'm currently doing right now is so my company is sponsoring the H1B. Uh, so I think they submitted my application for the lottery last week.
Oh, how exciting.
So fingers crossed that I win the
Yeah.
lottery. I know it's a very small percent of people that actually get the H1B visa. Um, so so hopefully that works out. But I'm also looking at the national interest waiver, um, since that requires a high degree and company sponsorship, publications, and things like that. So
Okay.
I finally meet those requirements now that I have that legal entry.
Wow, that's cool. It is so amazing that you're getting the help from your company where you work at. So that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
I feel like you will. You got this.
Thanks. Fingers crossed.
Yes, yes, literally. You're gonna go ahead and post your video where you're like, I got it.
Yeah, I sure hope so. I hope sometime later this year it's another
For
trip to
sure.
Mexico.
Oh my God, right? Yes. Was it like a little bit less stressful having your sister with you when you went?
Definitely. Because I've traveled before in the States. Um, but traveling like internationally, I've never done, and she's done it a few times already. So
Oh,
having her
okay.
by my side, even though she's like 7, 8 years younger than me,
Oh.
uh, she's
She's like, I got this. I'm the pro.
yeah. I just followed along, and I just let her run the show when it came to traveling internationally.
Oh my God, how exciting. That's something to look forward to, hopefully.
Yeah,
Maybe by next year you'll be in Mexico again.
I sure hope so.
Yeah. What part of Mexico are you from, if you don't mind me
So
asking?
I'm from Chiapas.
Oh, okay,
Hmm.
okay. But you haven't been there.
So I have not been there. We thought about going down there during that those couple days, but it's just very difficult to go from PA, Pennsylvania, all the way to Mexico City, and then another flight down, and then a long taxi uh,
Right, and then trying to
to get,
rush back.
and then trying to rush back all the way to Tijuana. And
Yeah, yeah.
after seeing not seeing my family for over 24 years, I didn't want to show up for about a day and
True,
then, hey
true.
guys, bye guys.
Right. Yeah, right, right. Just a quick little
I feel
trip.
like that
Yeah,
that would just be heartbreaking for everyone.
that's true. That's good that you're close with your family.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Have your parents been able to go?
So my dad has. He
Oh, okay.
recently became a citizen a couple months ago,
Oh, wow,
actually.
how exciting. Congratulations.
Thanks.
So he was able to go and visit family.
Yeah, so he's been able to go
Oh,
back
that's
and forth a couple
exciting.
times now.
Oh, wow, that's cool. That's always like the biggest thing is I've been seeing videos of how the dreamers are feeling that they're able to experience it, but their parents aren't able to experience it yet.
Hmm. Yeah, I've seen a lot of those videos, and I guess my mom hasn't experienced it yet, so for me being able to go down there and experience it in a couple days and sending them pictures almost every day,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
felt
Oh.
felt felt nice.
Um, with all the uncertainty right now, do you have any advice for fellow dreamers or just all of our immigration community right now with how they can deal with all the uncertainty and all the fear? Some of them, like I've been seeing videos of just people feeling really scared, and maybe even before he came into office, a lot were self-deporting already.
Um,
Do you have any advice on how to deal with it, or if they should? Even right now, a lot of them are self-deporting because of all the stuff that he's doing.
yeah, I have seen that, and it's unfortunate, and it is a stressful time. It is a very hard decision to make as well, after spending a long time here, right? Um, I think what's helped me and has helped others. Now that I have a small little community here of dreamers in DACA people, is always talking with others with similar situation, but also asking for help. Um, Not being afraid to kind of reach out to someone, um, because you never know if that person can help or is at least can be a helpful ear. Um, and for me, that person is my sister. Uh, I'm always venting to her about all the situations going on, my thought process, uh, and so for her, like I always reach out to her, and now I have other friends that reach out to me, because I've experienced DACA a little bit different than them. Um, so not being afraid to kind of reach out for help, especially within your close friend group. I think a lot of them are always willing to help in any way possible. Um, and that's kind of what's helped me, and definitely some therapy as well. Because because there's a lot of stressors behind this, right? With immigration, life. It's not just, and then on top of that, you have work or school. Um, so it's always hard to manage all these stressors. And I think, so I personally went through therapy, and I'm very open about that. I mean, I am, as you can tell, putting it out here. Um, and that's kind of helped mitigate, how to deal with all the stressors, including immigration stress, because that's also another stressor, right? Mhm.
Um, do you have any advice for any of those people that weren't able to file for DACA? Do you have any advice for them that are trying to pursue higher education but are finding like walls on their path to maybe, going to school?
Um, yeah, I think cold calling. Uh, I have a friend that kind of told me this, unrelated to DACA and Dreamers, but he told me just cold calling people has helped him sometimes. So cold calling, cold like sending emails, um, because I think a lot of us have that resilience that once, our foot is in the door or we're given that one opportunity, we can show what we can bring. Um, and so I think, it's kind of a numbers game. So sending out a lot of applications, um, sending out all the possible emails, going to, if you're in high school, going to guidance counselor, going to all the events that are related to college. Um, so kind of like that, approaching it like that. That's kind of how I approached going to college, going to grad school. When I went to grad school, I graduated undergrad with a 2.8 GPA, and I definitely didn't think I was going to go to graduate school. And it was that, like sending mass emails, talking with a very close professor of mine and telling him my situation, um, and then going to the after graduating graduate school looking for jobs. Um, and one of my talk in the talk I gave in Mexico, I I had a slide where it was all the rejection emails I got, maybe like 2/3 of it actually, because if it was all, we'd be there for a while. But like I said, it's just finding that one opportunity or that one person that's willing to listen, or give you that chance to stand out and present yourself. Um, mhm.
Do you have any you said that, which is usually what happens when you're trying to like do something and pursue like any kind of idea, you have to go ahead and hear so many no's until you finally get that yes. And just like what kept you like encouraged to go ahead and keep on going for it?
Um, my family,
Yeah.
has definitely helped. And my my whys, I guess, of why I'm doing these things.
Yeah.
Um, you know, all throughout my education, my whys was my parents. They only went to fifth or sixth grade in Mexico. So my why of getting a college degree was for them. They sacrificed so much to get me here. They left everyone behind to get me here. Same with like just having a why, um, and having that why in the back of your mind of why you're doing something. Um, Other people might have different whys, but never forgetting that why you're pursuing something kind of always helps.
That way you can go ahead and keep yourself motivated.
Hmm. Definitely.
Yeah. And I feel like that's like a big thing resonating with us. Even though some of us encounter some walls on our way to, getting like your master's or graduating from a university, even though you encounter like maybe not qualifying for FAFSA or not qualifying for any assistance to pay for school, I've had some of you guys say that you've taken like a year off just to go ahead and get the money to pay for school. You've it's still kept that big picture in your mind of what it is that you want to do. And even though it took a little longer, you still went back and you found a way to get it done. And that is like a big thing. It's a huge resilience in this community.
Yeah. No, there definitely is, and the more and more I get to speak to other people in this community, the more I see like some similarities of, Brazilians, whether it was working many jobs, taking time off, um, just quote unquote hustling your way through
Oh my God,
with
for
with with
sure.
no one
Yes.
leading you but yourself. Especially like for me, like I was the first one to go to high school, college, like all these things, like and um, it was kind of a hustle. It was
Right.
okay. I got into college. Now what? I have to pass my classes. I have to work all these jobs. I have to pay for a meal plan. Like it was many things. So like I worked for the cafeteria. That way I got a free meal. I worked as an area coordinator so I can get a free room. Like it is just one big
It's very
figuring
amazing.
it out. Faking it until you make it pretty much.
There you go. So true. Yes, literally.
And I think
So, to bring that interview to an end, do you have any final advice or words of encouragement for our community right now?
um keep on fighting. Um keep on speaking up. I know there's a lot of people that are very open and some people sometimes aren't. Originally, I used to be like that. I used to be afraid of speaking up and saying, I am a dreamer, I am from Mexico, here's my story.
Me
It took
too.
it took many years for me to come out and tell my story. And I think uh, I'm not saying if you feel comfortable enough, definitely tell your story because sometimes it might open up someone's eyes. That this immigration situation might be affecting someone close to them that they didn't realize it was. Um, and that's kind of what happened with me. Like I came out and told my story, and there were many people that didn't realize every all this immigration stuff actually affected one of their close friends. Um, so I think be open, be resilient, keep on fighting. Um, sí se puede, for sure.
Yeah. And you know what? I feel like with everybody coming out and sharing their stories, and it's just making us so much stronger. And then the community is getting so much bigger. And there's so many similarities, like you said, that we have. So I feel like it makes it easier to be there to understand what somebody's going through. Because you're just like, "Oh my god," like, "Hey, like, I'm here to help you if you need any help." I've had a lot of people that have offered help and, like, helping you fill out your advance parole, or if you need help filling out your DACA, they're offering their time, and they wanna come up with, like, stuff to help our community out, so that way they can help them at least, save that money where they don't have to go out and pay a lawyer, or even, like, there's so many of you guys that do it yourself.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's so amazing. I do not entrust myself to do it, but I'm just like, wow. Like from all of this happening, like it's made so many of you guys like little lawyers where you guys are literally like helping out everybody in our community to fill out their documents and inspire them to be like, I can do it by myself.
yeah, yeah. I definitely was never. The first couple of times I didn't do it by myself. Until the last few. I finally, decided to try it out myself, and like you said, it's like being a mini lawyer. You have
Yeah,
to
I'm
make
just
sure
like,
you write the
wow,
right
you
stuff.
guys like skip through law school. You guys just, did it in real life, helping out everybody right now. And it's so
Hmm.
amazing to see how everybody is putting their little grain of salt to help everybody out.
Yeah, definitely. I think I really appreciate what you're doing. Sharing people's stories because I think the more people see it, and the more people see that there are a lot of those similarities, like you mentioned. You know, you don't feel alone. Um,
Yeah, so
and
true.
not feeling alone is a great thing, right?
Right. Yeah, for sure. Especially right now, it helps to know that there's a lot of us out there that are feeling the same way,
Right.
for sure. Thank you so much, Andres, for
No
coming
problem.
on. I feel so inspired by you. I'm so, so proud of all that you've done. It is so
Yeah.
amazing to see all of the fellow dreamers and just our community out there really representing.
Thanks, thanks. And I appreciate
So
you.
cool. hopefully, fingers crossed, we get some good news in a few months.
Sure hopes. Thank you.
Celebrate.
Yeah, definitely.
Go Birds.
Go Bears.
One of my coworkers is from Philadelphia, so I was like, I learned that, and now I support Philadelphia.
Nice.
I'm like, go Philly.
That's awesome.
Too.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too. Have a good one. Stay
Bye.
strong.
Thank you too.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Voices of Dreamers. I hope today's conversation inspired you a deeper understanding of the incredible stories within the DACA community. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with friends, leave a review, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Remember, we all have a voice, and together we can make a difference. Until next time, keep dreaming big, and I'll see you soon.